Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we're going to take a couple of RCs out today. We've made quite a few changes to them since we got them new. So we're taking the Slash out that's got the, it's got a 1/2 smaller pinion. That'll be running on 2S and the high voltage lipos. It's got the Max 10 SCT with the 4000 kV motor in it. 1/2 smaller pinion than stock. It's got the, just trying to think what else we've done to it. It's got the, I think it's an Integi motor mount, aluminium motor mount, and it's got the different wheels and tyres on that we put on. It's also running the metal centre diff. So I'm hoping that it's not going to lift the front end as much, and it should make a bit of a difference today with surface that we're going to be running it on. We're setting up a little grass track. The Senton, we've got aftermarket shocks on it, aluminium ones. Let's see if I can find out exactly what they are, but the red anodised aluminium ones, not sure if they're from Amazon. Not particularly expensive. I think they may be GPM ones. We've got a Servos servo in it, and both cars are running on the Flysky MB4 transmitters. So, will it make any difference to them? The Senton's also running 3S, because he didn't have any 2S batteries charged. So it'll be quite interesting to see what difference we actually get between 2S and 3S, because they do go roughly at the same speed, them cars. Let's get on with video. Right, so let's get to some running footage of the Slash and Senton. Senton out of the box was horrendous. The steering servo was absolutely awful, and the radio got far too much delay. The Traxxas Slash Ultimate out the box was drivable. The servo wasn't brilliant, but it was acceptable, and the radio gear latency were acceptable, but you're paying more money for it. Really interesting how much difference the diffs made, which I tried to show in the slow motion shots. Tried to get both the cars. If you put the power on in the Senton with the stock slipper clutch, it just lifts the front wheels. And the slipper clutch, if you've ever tried to set one in a Senton, is horrendous. It's either on or off. There's no in between. The Slash's slipper clutch was a lot more adjustable, but again, you're paying a lot more for the RC, so kind of goes with territory. But the diff has made a huge difference. The Senton's on 3S, the Slash is on 2S, so the Senton would definitely have it on top speed. The problem is you can't get the power down. If you've got a track with tight turns, you need the center diff to keep the front end down so you can still steer, get on the power out of the corners. But you can see with the difference in the speed that the two are going around this track. I did try driving the Senton as well. It's massively improved with the shocks we've put on it, and they're not that expensive. I'm sure they're just GPM aluminium bodied shocks, but they have made a huge difference to the handling of it. The one thing we're trying to get out of the Senton at the minute, and I think we need to limit the travel on the steering, and you'll see towards the end of this video, if you manage to hit full lock while you're travelling at any speed, it just folds the outer wheel under the car and flips it through air. So I think we're going to have to limit the amount of travel on the steering to stop it doing that, whereas the slash only tends to tip if I hit one of the markers, it'll flip it over. Quite interesting comment we had when we put the light bars on it. I know I had a few comments saying the first time they roll them light bars will be off, but as you see on this, we've rolled them quite a few times throughout the day, and they've both come out completely unscathed. It's not damaged body shells or light bars, so yeah, they're pretty robust little light bars then. Great fun from both RCs. Like the way either one of them drive, and I don't think there's much in it. If you spend the same amount of money on a Senton as what it'd cost you to buy a Slash Ultimate, you're gonna have a pretty similar handling car. The debate on 2S or 3S depends on track. If you've got a really long track that's not as twisty, I'd run 3S. If it's a tight twisty track where you're not getting to use that top speed, 2S seems a lot more drivable. Right, so hopefully you enjoyed that. Let's have a look at the mudguards. Right, let's have a reveal then. How did Scorched Parts mudguards do? That's surprising. That's done pretty good, because all that would be in there and it's not. I'd say they get a pass, these mudguards. Let's have a look at Slash. So the Slash is caked in it, but only a tiny bit of grass inside the Slash. Yeah, so all that would be inside the Slash. I'm quite impressed with them. Have a look underneath. Oh god, that's going to take some cleaning. What's Senton like underneath? Yeah, it's a pretty safe bet to say that them Scorched Part mudguards work. Right, so hopefully you enjoyed that. The cars did get absolutely filthy. Both of them still running their crazy light bars. I know when we fitted these, there were a few comments saying first time they roll over, they'll be off. Well, as you see on video, they went over a few times. We did run a whole lot more batteries through them than that, and they rolled over a hell of a lot more, and the lights are still completely solid on both cars. The Scorched Parts mudguards. Now I've cleaned this off a bit, but you can see where the mudguards were and where they weren't. And I've got a couple of videos showing you what they actually look like. I've scraped a bit of the mud off underneath, but it's still absolutely caked in it. But the main thing, yeah, they really do work. Stopped all the mud and crap and grass getting in the ESC fan and the motor fan, and generally kept most of it out. The amount of mud and crap that was stuck all under these mud guards and all around the vehicles, yeah, I can highly recommend these to anybody that wants to run these in winter. They're absolutely fantastic. And we did try it in snow last year, and again it kept it all out. And we did run it in summer, and it kept most of the grass out as well. It actually did a far better job keeping the grass out than the mesh cover that we tried on it. For some reason, I think it's through these side rails, the bash rails that are on. But for some reason, it just worked like a Hoover bag with the dust covers on this and the Senton. And they just kind of filled up with grass inside, so they just didn't work for us at all. Performance wise, really happy with how this drove with the centre diff. It really stopped it trying to do that all the time, which is a problem with short course trucks. What we've found, they do tend to want to wheelie a lot, and I think it's literally just the lack of a centre diff. The Senton definitely quicker on top end because it will run in 3S, but really surprised at how much difference the diff made to this. Coming out the corners, you can keep the power on a lot more, and it did allow me to pull ahead of the Senton quite a few times. The shocks on the Senton really does make a difference to it. Not sure if you could just change the shock oil in the stock ones, but the fact that they all kind of leaked and they're all plasticky and awful. But it's not really a fair comparison comparing a Slash Ultimate to a Senton 3S. The Slash Ultimate's a lot more expensive, but then when you come to having to upgrade all the shocks and everything on the Senton, you're then getting around the same price. So it just depends which one you like. I drove both. I've drove the Slash and I drove the Senton, and the Senton drives absolutely lovely. So it's really, I think, just buy the one you like the look of, or buy the one that the parts are available easier in your area, really. There's not a lot between them. I try to stay away from the fanboyism, and you can see with RCs around me, we've got everything from X-Ray, Hebeo, we've got Axial, Losse, Traxxas, FRD Racing with Dragon Hammer sat over there. So yeah, we're not, I think you're better off not being a fan of a particular brand, and if that brand brings out a nice RC that you like, then buy it. Other than that, the main thing is part availability in your area. If you find Traxxas parts are available easier than Armour, go that way. If you can get Armour parts regularly available but not Traxxas in your area, then Armour's probably best to go for you. Both cars, there is an absolute bucket load of mods, and they're generally both a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed that video. It's not often we get time where we're all off work together and we get to go out with cars. So thanks again for watching. If you like this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and I'll catch you guys again in the next one.